Would you rather be a charitable person or a truthful person? Now, if someone were to ask me that question, I would reject the question. I wouldn't answer it because it's a false dichotomy. We actually have to have a third option. For every person, but especially every Christian, we're called to live both truth and charity. And it can never be a dichotomy of one over the other. This is a really important theological principle whenever we talk about any of the hot button issues, say like abortion, homosexuality, or in this case, pronouns. How should we navigate the pronoun question? I'm going to argue that one of the key theological points we must have is how do we live both the truth, the objective truth, and real charity, or a warmth of compassion and affection. So what would it be like if a babysitter came to, babysit 4 kids, let's just say, and was really a charitable person without truth? And when she came into the house, all the parents had left, and she came in and said, all right, kids, I am a loving person. Love is all you need. And so because I'm a loving person and love is all you need, there will be no rules. You can go to bed whenever you want. You can eat and drink whatever you want. I will not judge you. I will not impose any laws on you because I'm a charitable person. Would that be charitable? Would that be loving? No, because as soon as you divorce truth from charity, charity becomes distorted. It becomes merely reducible to my emotional whims, my highs or lows. It means whatever I want. It becomes reducible to mere sentimentality. Just be nice. But what happens if that same babysitter were to come in, parents leave, 4 kids are there, and she's like, all right, kids, you must obey the letter to the law. I don't care whatever happens, spilt milk or no spilt milk. You will go to bed at this time. You will do this. You will do that. Well, it'd be devoid from a warmth, from a human compassion. It would be, the truth would be a bludgeoning weapon. It would be a harsh vinegar. So St. Francis de Sales says, we must cook the truth and charity together until it tastes sweet. This is who Jesus is. Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. He also says God is love. But the best way that both elements are brought together is in John 1:14, where St. John says, the Word of God became incarnate in the flesh, in our world, and he is full of grace and truth. He is full of graciousness, warmth, compassion, mercy, and truth, and the two are together. And so every Christian is called to live both those elements together. How does this begin to work with the question of, or the complexity of, pronouns and environments in which many people are saying this, that, and the other thing? What are we to do and how are we to live? Well, I would argue that we always need to keep both elements together. So what happens if a person were to come up to you who is clearly a biological male, but wants you to use they, them pronouns? What are you going to do? Well, I would say it would be a lack of living in the truth if we were to cave and say a lie. That they're they, them. It's not in accord with reality. That's a lie. I don't think Christians, and nobody should do this because it's not in accord with reality. We're divorcing the truth. But what happens if that same person, clearly a biological male, wants you to use they, them pronouns, and you're more of a charitable person? You're like, oh, absolutely. Whatever you want to be called, I will do. Well, in Christian Catholicism, what's the truth of the matter? We can change who we are, but we can't change what we are. We can change names, for example. Father Jake, my name changed when I was ordained. Sometimes religious sisters or brothers can change their name when they come into a religious order. When a woman sometimes will get married to a man, her name changes. We can change our name. We can change what we are, but we can change who we are, but we can't change what we are. We can't change the fact that we are human persons, not animals. So the whole furries question, irrational. Nor can we say I am a female when I am actually a biological male, or vice versa. Nor could someone begin to use randomly brought about pronouns for a clearly identified biological fact that's contrary to what they're identifying as. That's not living the truth. So, and yet at the same time, we must be deeply charitable and be tactful in how we live the truth. So, a few practical examples here. I would argue that no Catholic should call someone who's clearly a biological female or male to call them by preferred pronouns that are at odds with their biology. That might sound uncharitable, but there are tactful ways to go about this. So for example, I would say, seek to call the person by the name they want and not to use pronouns at all. It might seem a little clumsy, but it actually helps you walk this very tight line of living the truth and charity. Nor should a Catholic actually call themselves or identify themselves with pronouns that are at odds with their biology, because we want to be able to live the truth ourselves. So again, there's ways to live the truth beautifully and attractive. Lastly, it just has to be said, we are in a cultural climate that is divorced from truth and only becoming increasingly divorced from the truth. G.K. Chesterton said famously, and perhaps even prophetically, he said, "Fires will be kindled to testify that 2 and 2 make 4. Swords will be drawn to prove that leaves are green in summer." There's no doubt about it. This is becoming an ever increasingly hostile environment to live the truth at all. But this is part of how Christians are called to enter into the world, to live both the truth, to be steadfast in the truth, persevering, but not just to use the truth as a bludgeoning weapon, as if orthodoxy will save us. We must have both truth and charity. God bless you.